We're announcing today that the Orange County District Attorney's Office is going to be joining DALIA, the District Attorney's League of Immigrant Affairs. And essentially what the program is going to be, it's a specialized program that Bob Conflitti, who's sitting here to my right, is going to be marshaling into our office and working with other assistants in our office, where we are going to focus on assisting immigrants here in Orange County, particularly in the Newburgh and the Middletown locations, because what we've seen is we've seen a high incidence of immigrants being taken advantage of, being defrauded, and in particular not having a willingness to participate in the criminal justice system because of fear or a misunderstanding, or not being educated as to what the process is when they're a victim of a crime or a witness to a crime. The reason I'm doing this is about 10 or 12 months ago, at a naturalization and immigration ceremony that I was participating in, I met a gentleman who had became a United States citizen, and right over at the 911 center. And in talking with him, he indicated to me that he had been defrauded in the process before he had became an immigrant. He had given a large amount of money to an agency that was supposed to assist him in becoming a United States citizen. And I found it to be, reprehensible that had happened to this man. And at that point, I started looking into what we could do that would be beneficial here in Orange County. And right about that time, a short period after that, at the District Attorneys Association, I met some individuals that were part of DALIA, and that's the District Attorneys Association League of Immigrant Affairs. It's primarily the city offices with Nassau County, but what they do there is they have a dedicated assistant district attorney to be the point of all contact for immigrant affairs in the office, whether they're a victim, whether they're a witness, whether they've been defrauded. And this person acts sort of as a trainer, an educator. It walks the person through whatever needs to be done to assist them. And as I said, what we found is we have quite a few, a large immigrant population in Newburgh and Middletown. And in keeping with something that I've done since I've taken office, I want the District Attorney's Office here in Orange County to be a leader, not only in the Hudson Valley, but a leader in the state when it comes to providing services to the public. And I've always said that I view the Office of the District Attorney not only as one that basically prosecutes cases, but you have to be an educator. You have to be part of the process in the community so that people understand that unless everybody participates in the system, and that's the criminal justice system, victims, witnesses, people continue to be victimized. And to that end, what we've focused on the last year or so is a lot of proactive prevention programs. And as the role of the district attorney changes over time, which it is changing now, as we've seen, prevention and being proactive is more and more important, because it's easier to prevent crime. It's easier to give somebody an option before crime is committed than having to deal with it afterward. And as I said, the gentleman that I met almost a year ago, who was an immigrant, who's now a United States citizen, he actually didn't live in Orange County. He was a Sullivan County resident, but hearing his story prompted me to take this action, and I'm very happy that today we're launching this. I fully expect our membership into DALIA to be accepted, and ultimately we're going to be part of the task force that basically protects immigrants. And really what I'm happy is Bob Conflitti is going to run the program. He's special counsel to the DA. He's got in excess of 25 years in the public sector. He's handled everything from homicides in the office to all sorts of special projects here, our conviction integrity unit, as well as the It's On Us campaign, which we have some stuff coming up on that. So I'm very happy to appoint him as the point of contact that will be working this with the city offices as well as the assistants in our office here. And again, the goal here is that, you know, we have seen, and I have seen, and I personally met somebody that was taken advantage of, that became a United States citizen, and what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to make the process easier for immigrants to come forward to be a witness to a crime and not be afraid that they're going to be deported or that there's going to be an issue, to assist them in any way we can if they're a victim. We do see a tremendous amount of immigrants that are victims, particularly in the domestic violence area, as well as human trafficking. And we want to make them comfortable and understand what the criminal justice system is about, that we're here to protect them, we're here to hold people that commit crimes accountable. And I think this program is one way to do that. And it's going to have a particular focus on the aspect, the financial aspect of defrauding potential immigrants and people that are already involved in the process, to make it easier for them to come forward and report. And again, too, there's going to be an educational aspect to this, that we're going to publicize the do's and don'ts when it comes to immigration. And again, we're not saying that we're immigration lawyers here, but the idea is that this is a segment of our society, much like elder crimes, that are being targeted by unscrupulous groups of people, and they're being defrauded. And that's what we're going to focus on that aspect. And again, the secondary aspect is, you know, the victims and witnesses. When they're victims and witnesses to crimes, we want to be able to make them comfortable to come forward to partake in our criminal justice system, because without cooperation from victims and witnesses, you can't prosecute crimes, and people have to be comfortable and understand what the system involves.
It's going to start today?
This week.
This week?
Yeah.
And are you going to have, or do you have already bilingual people in the office, or
We
multilingual?
We have the ability through interpreters to handle.
Consultants you could bring in?
Yeah, we have contract.
And are you going to have X number of staff members who are full-time dedicated to this, or this will be a component of their job?
This will be a component. Bob is going to oversee the program as the master point of contact. Obviously, we do have a system set up where certain violent crimes and sex crimes and DV will be broken down by that, but Bob will oversee and assist when it comes to whether it's a victim, a witness, or someone that's been financially taken advantage of. Bob will be the main point of contact to assist them with all things collateral to the actual prosecution. And there's a lot of things that goes on when there's a prosecution, particularly, let's just say that, hypothetically speaking, you have someone that may be an undocumented immigrant, or you have an issue in, you know, somewhere in Orange County where they're a victim of a crime. Well, we don't draw a distinction in this office or any office, you know, where, you know, what your citizenship is. You're a victim of a crime. You know, my job is to make sure that essentially the victim, you know, their rights get spoken for and someone's held accountable. So there's a lot of things that go on while that case is going on that come to bear, and Bob is basically going to run those channels and make sure that those things get taken care of, whether the person can get, you know, a visa to be here, whether they need help, whether there needs to be contact with Homeland Security or ICE, or, you know, whatever else needs to be done to ensure that we can have a sound prosecution and hold criminals accountable. That's what we want to be able to do, and that's what I hope that this program will do at the end of the day.
So that if somebody's undocumented and you reach out to them, or they reach out to you, if you notify Immigration and Naturalization, are they going to throw them in the OCJ?
No, it doesn't work that way. Our goal here, our goal at the end of the day is to assist, number one, the group of people that have been financially taken advantage of. That's our goal. If somebody reaches out for us and needs and wants help or assistance in becoming a citizen, or they have an issue, obviously Bob's going to direct them to the right place. There's no enforcement arm to any of this in any way, shape, or form. This is an educational assistance tool that fits into our toolbox in the larger scheme of things. But it's here because there's so many people trying to take advantage of people coming to citizenship. Excuse me. So
There's no enforcement on your part, but do you have any agreement with Immigration and Naturalization that it'll be hands-off? that they won't?
there's no issue with that. It's
Okay.
it's not an issue.
Okay, all right. And these people on your staff who will be doing this part-time, are they gonna be all assistant ADAs, or are they other?
Well, if it involves a person being a victim or witness to a crime, obviously there's going to be a prosecutor who specializes in that area is going to be handling the case. Bob is going to handle all the collateral aspects to it.
Okay, so there won't be any other people other than ADAs and Bob?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, have you encountered cases where you've had immigrants who are victims or witnesses and you've had trouble getting cooperation?
Yes. It's
What's-
happened.
What's
Well,
the scope?
Well, it happens quite frequently, you know, more so in Newburgh or Middletown, where someone's a victim of a crime. They're afraid. They don't want to come testify to what they saw or what they heard or what they know because they're afraid of being deported. They're afraid of being arrested. They're afraid of, you know, they're just afraid because they don't know. And at the end of the day, it hampers us to be able to bring justice. So the goal here is to basically try to put their fears at ease, trying to explain to them what the process will be. It's easier for us to do it here through an assistant district attorney or Bob, the executive assistant, because he can make the phone calls, be able to, you know, run the channels and basically not give the person legal advice, but put them in contact with the people that they need to be in contact with in order to make this work. And again, as I said, the other focus of it is too the large number of individuals that we see that are being defrauded, that don't want to come forward and say, I gave somebody $3,000 to help me with my immigration paperwork and I never got nothing. When in fact it can be done through the normal process for, you know, far, far less. And as I said, I met an individual who was defrauded and explained to me exactly what had happened, and that sort of was the impetus for where we are today. And then it was just, you know, Bob doing the research and talking with the other offices that have these programs, and I think it's another tool that we have that we can use that you know, puts us to the front of the district attorney's offices in the Hudson Valley, and obviously is a leader in the state. Bob, do you have anything you want to add?
Not especially. I mean, the only thing I will say is that Hank asked if it would be only ADAs handling this. We do have a bilingual receptionist who might be getting involved, assuming she's English-Spanish, so she might end up getting involved in individual cases. But otherwise, that's really all I thought of that we need to clarify.
Do you find that through experience in general, the majority of the immigrants who are not English speaking are Latino, Spanish speaking?
That would be the greatest
Yeah.
number, yeah. Yeah, and again, we see a tremendous amount in the domestic violence is where really you see it more than any other place. And you know, obviously, you know, we have Safe Homes that we partner with that, you know, is a wonderful organization that assists us in helping the victims of domestic violence. This is just something else in addition that, you know, we'll have another tool that we can use in those cases where instead of somebody there having to work through 2 or 3 different channels, we'll have somebody that only take one.
So if a case comes into them, they'll just call you guys from now on?
Well, obviously the police will be involved, and then obviously if there's a victim of domestic violence, Safe Homes will be contacted. We do a risk assessment of where the person needs to stay, what services do they need, and if one of the services they need is something regarding immigration, then obviously a quick call to Bob, or Bob will intervene, or whatever. However, it can work a couple different ways. It can go, forward and backward. But the idea is that people will be aware that we have this, and I think it'll assist us in meeting the ultimate mission of the office, and keeping the people of Orange County safe.
It sounds like it would give safe homes another avenue to walk people down also.
Yes.
Because I know that they already do some work with the thesis for victims of domestic violence.
Yes.
And that's part of their trafficking initiative too.
Yeah, that's more of, see, ours is more geared toward the financial exploitation.
Right.
The secondary effect of it is the victims and witnesses and such.
Mm-hmm.
But we're more concerned about financial exploitation, particularly when financial exploitation in the process of becoming a citizen. And I liken it a lot to elder abuse. There's more of it than people want to acknowledge, and there's a lot more that can be done with it. And we're just taking our first steps of getting there.